we're here with our off-cycle series.
Life Lessons with Lisi, episode 1.
Life Lessons with Lisi Almeida.
I mean, you're the star of this show anyway. JJ and I are very much the supporting cast.
No, what are you talking about? We're best friends.
I'm saying, if we were Oasis, you're Liam Gallagher, I'm Noel, and JJ.
I just play drums.
JJ's you're Bonehead.
So
Bonehead underrated. Very good.
So I think some of the themes that we're seeing today, right, that we're all on Twitter and stuff like that. We were talking a little bit earlier today about the, what did you call it, Jack? Alternative?
Joseph, the producer's favorite word, yeah.
Joseph. The alternative.
I'm so going to clip this up.
Right?
I wish I was Joseph.
So, no, and like I identify with
Joseph.
that group. No, stop.
Great.
I do, like, I identify with that group because when you think about the alternative, right, where like people our age in their early 30s or whatever, you think about the Hardys stream. Lita was like that woman that like led that and then a few years later, there's a lot of people, but Paige was really at the forefront at that time. And then now we're talking and we're like, yeah, like Liv Morgan is that person because it's the people that don't necessarily fit into a bucket. And again, we're humans. We don't need to fit into one bucket or another, but like it's the misfits. As when we were growing up, that's probably what you would have called it, right, Jack? Right, JJ?
Yeah, well, I gotta say, the problem is with WWE in particular, they had such a consistent habit of putting a certain look near our screen. Yeah. So Lita, for example, was just so different because she was low pants, high thong, red hair. She had her sleeves. Like, okay, that's different. And like you said, pretty much then until 2015, it was the same.
Yeah.
Blonde, skinny, big boobs.
And to be honest, like that's a really great point, Jack. Lita was, she had darker hair, she dyed it red or whatever. She always wore like the thong outside her pants, which is super edgy. But she had like a sleeve of tattoos and like.
What they call it, lowriders, right? That's very much at the time.
Yes, because thank God they're not. Please, God, don't bring them back in style.
You definitely had that look, didn't you?
I did, but more so than that, Lita made having tattoos as a woman cool. So, like, I really thank her for that piece of things because, like, I have a lot and like my whole ribs are tattooed and like I have like a tattoo in my mouth, like everywhere.
You have a tattoo in your mouth?
Yes, I do.
Let's see it. What does it say? It
says blessed.
I've never seen that before.
You wouldn't.
I'm gonna say I've never looked on the inside of your mouth before, darling. So yeah, you're fine.
I just have Taynara. I just have Taynara on my chest.
Oh, shut up. So like someone like Alita was just such a, like, she broke that ground for us where it's like women could be cool and have tattoos. Women could be cool and do this. So it's just a level of appreciation that I really can't express. But anywho, where are we going with this, Jack?
We're only recording this because Lissy felt that her rant deserved some kind of recording or airtime. Like, this is so good. Y'all need to film this because I've got gold here. Okay.
No, it's not gold. It's just like, it's like raw conversation where I think that people who are wrestling fans feel like you have to fit into a particular bucket, or people who are not wrestling fans feel like you should fit into a particular bucket. And there's something for everyone at the end of the day.
And do you feel, Lissy, when you go to wrestling shows, people are very confused because you don't fit into a particular bucket? People look at you and think you shouldn't be a wrestling fan.
Yeah, I hate you for asking.
They look at you and say, "Who dragged you here?"
Yeah.
Oh, you're here with your boyfriend, are you? We've been dragged along for the night.
When I go to wrestling shows, I think a lot of the times the questions that surround my attendance there are, who are you with? Are you part of the show? who's your boyfriend or things like that. And it's like, I'm just, most of the time, especially now, you guys know that, I just go because I'm having a good time and I go. So it's a little bit insulting that people think that, you know, I'm there with somebody else because I can't be there by myself. And
I don't think the thing is, I don't think that's the interpretation. Do you not think
Okay.
it's the you're almost too good for this place? I think that's the connotation.
I
Like,
know, but like that's not fair because again, like we're all here for the same thing. And why, because I'm a girl or because I'm a girl who a certain way, do I get excluded from the wrestling fan bucket? Like that, it just doesn't make sense to me. And maybe I'm just being a little bit foolish, but it's unsettling and unfair when people are like, oh, why are you here? It's like, I'm here because I'm enjoying myself. That's all. Like, there's nothing further than that.
even when you went to you got to a show which just had 30 people, right? Last month.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'll go to a show
And no
with-
booze. And no booze people.
Exactly. Like I'll go to it. Listen, I love wrestling. I'll go to a show with 30 people. I'll go to a show with, 300 people, or with,
80,000.
30,000 people, or
She's
with
hardcore.
80,000.
She's hardcore.
Exactly.
She's hardcore.
I listen. One thing about you guys, I'm hardcore. Like I'm going to every type of wrestling, and I really
right,
enjoy
Joseph.
it.
That's right.
Joseph, fuck you.
Oh,
Yeah, Joseph. Anyway, Lissy's favorite city in the world is London.
Oh my God. Stop it, Jack Milner.
Look, Joseph has no interest in wrestling, so it would never work anyway.
I
Even
know.
Frank, God love Frank, says to me, yeah, they looked like they were really enjoying it on Sunday. I probably should have watched it, but just got bored and started doing other things.
the poor guy has, been
Poor Frank
up all
on there for
night.
5 hours.
He'd been
Who,
up all
our
night the night
Frankie?
before, and
Frankie, yeah.
Frankie.
He's such an angel. I love him.
He wants us to come to the studio in London and do a live stream from there.
Yeah. Oh my God, let's go. I'm ready.
I mean, John, you can't even get to Vegas for All Out, so surely you wouldn't be allowed to go to
I was
London.
invited as well, yeah. No, I will be in London either next month or in May, I think, for a work thing, but whatever.
Yes. Let's go.
I mean, it's easy for us to go, Lizzie. It's like a 3-hour flight. You, however,
I don't care. Oh, you guys don't know.
it's got a pay rise. I'm good.
No, I used to go to London for the weekend. I'll fly out.
You'd go
Thursday
to
night.
London for the weekend.
Yeah, so like there's like an 8 or 9 p.m. flight. Take that flight, sleep on the plane. You arrive at Heathrow at 6-ish, and it's wonderful. You get to like skip the jet lag because you slept on the way there. Come on, let's go. I'm ready.
All right, that's it.
I'll have a word with Frank and see what we can do.
Would
Well,
Joseph be there?
I mean, we were. I don't know how do we phrase this episode? Life lessons with Lacey. We'll just call this the week in wrestling. JJ, have you got anything to add from this week? Chad Gable, your hero.
Oh,
Did it again on Raw.
let's talk about wrestling. Go ahead.
Yeah, well,
Chad
I'll
Gable.
let JJ. We've got to have some hope for people if we sit somewhere.
I am happy that Chad Gable is getting himself over with the shoosh, and I mean, they added literally shoosh to the start of his theme tune, which is crazy. I'm happy he's getting over. I'm sad he lost the title.
Thank you. Thank you.
Randy and Riddle are obviously more over, but he's phenomenal in the ring. I mean, it's no surprise that the best tag match in years on WWE Raw.
Years.
Years.
I mean, there are obviously other.
It involves
people.
Randy Orton.
And Lissy's favorite Randy Orton is looks like he's happier than he's ever been in a ring, right?
He said that. I mean, he said that recently. He's having
He
more fun.
looks
than
like he's
ever
loving
had.
life.
Yeah.
Randy
still so
Orton
over.
is so April 1st, he's 42. So it's funny because we've seen like a lot of that like
Phenomenal
chatter.
shape as well, by the way. Phenomenal.
Phenomenal shape,
Phenomenal.
right? Not just handsome, phenomenal shape, just carrying the brand, whatever. Anywho,
How
like,
bad it is.
we see that he says he wants to wrestle till he's 50. If there was someone that could wrestle until they're 50 and beyond, it's Randy Orton. That's it. That's the headline.
Oh, Chris Jericho. Yeah.
Speaking of looking phenomenal, yeah, Chris Jericho has got himself cut.
He
He's
looks great.
looking
this
One
better.
thing though, I saw the clips from Wednesday. Is he wearing a wig?
No,
Just a little
I don't think so.
help, maybe.
no, he's
What's his
not. I
hair?
think Chris Jericho Chris Jericho has beautiful hair.
He doesn't.
think-
If you look what he does, listen, he's growing the front out and
Shut
He
up.
just went to the salon.
Yeah, but, like,
he went to
Sean
the
did that.
salon.
Yeah, and go to the salon. Yeah, like I did today.
salon.
Sean did that. But what I'm gonna say is with Chris Jericho, I don't think that he's whatever. What
You
you're
go
saying.
more Kate Verde after a few wines, you know this.
I know, right? No,
Shut up.
Chris Jericho.
I'm talking.
I'm talking. So Chris Jericho, it was painful about a month or so ago when we watched and his hair was
Right on.
recently dyed and there was a lot going on, and that's all I'm gonna say because I love him and I don't want to like speak ill of him. Anywho, it's
Not
getting
dead.
better. What?
He's not dead. I don't
No,
speak ill of
he's
him.
I don't want to say anything bad because like I love him as a wrestler and like you guys, I think it's very important, maybe because I'm a woman and I'm getting older quickly or quicker than you guys are, but I don't necessarily want to shame people who are feeling like they're getting older, but I can identify and understand with and, really resonate with the fact that it's difficult to, start to have gray hair or start to like, your body is not reacting the same that it used to be. So, and I think you guys too. So Chris Jericho, you are in my thoughts and prayers, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
As is Big E, by the way, who's recovering from a broken
Oh
neck. So
god, yeah, we should have said, man.
big thoughts to
As-
Big
Right
E,
there,
Jesus,
as is
that was
Big E.
so bad.
who is
And you know what's
again,
funny?
he used his post to tell people to stop worrying about him, which is
Yeah,
when you
he's just
Jack, when
such
you
a guy.
messaged our group chat like, oh my god, Big E, I thought, shit, has he like fucking won back the title or something? And then I just went
Right.
on Twitter, look.
I only told because
oh
Lissy
my god.
posted it on our
Yeah,
socials.
I hadn't.
I get my
looked.
WWE news from Lissy on our
Yeah.
own stuff.
I hadn't
It's
looked.
me.
Oh,
Just a point here about we mentioned earlier off air about Pete Dunne, which is why we started re-recording. So I made a point here on Rampage on Friday. AW and Excalibur making reference to the rivalry from 205 Live from Tony Nese and Swerve.
Mm.
So it says, whereas WWE don't even mention NXT and pretend like Butch is completely new, ignoring their own developmental. What's that about?
it's a sad state of affairs. It's a
What
case
is
of
that?
them-
When you think about that, it's like
something-
bringing a new. It's like bringing a new pet home, having already met someone like someone new here. No, you had this
Yeah.
thing a couple of years ago. No, I didn't. You did though, didn't you? It's just weird. It's just weird to me. I can't get my head around the idea of thinking your fans are that stupid.
I was texting a friend of mine who's just into Brit Rest, doesn't watch AEW, doesn't watch WWE. Fair enough, rare, but cool. And he was like talking about like some of his favorite matches and stuff from like recent, and he said like Walter versus Ilya Dragunov from Progress, and I was like, oh, I've seen that match in NXT, and shame
Mhm.
that what they've done with him now. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, that they the new name Gunther, and he like had no idea, and he was like, oh, for fuck's sake, like why do they do this stupid shit? And I mean we've all been through it with Walter, and now we're going through it again with Pete Dunne. It's such a shame because Pete Dunne's so good.
He's
Like
so
one of those
good.
guys that I remember when they did the UK Championship tournament. And
Yes.
I'd not seen like a ton of these guys, but I loved that tournament. And they had I think they had Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate there, and then they also had another match between those two on NXT pay-per-view, and just like so good. Even if you've never seen them before, they're kind of guys that you just watch one time, you're like, wow, it's the sort of Keith Lee effect or the Rhea Ripley effect, and all these people where you just see them have, all right, you see them on WWE TV in one form or another, you're like, these guys are incredible, and it's just ruined them, man. They've ruined them. It's so sad.
It's
I
so
think
sad. It's so
You're
sad.
right. because like we watch them on NXT every week, and I think we were talking about this earlier. Where I'm
Nobody
like, oh,
watches NXT, Leslie. Come on.
shut up! I watch NXT
Shut
every
up.
week. Actually, no, honestly, I watch NXT faithfully, and I don't watch the other shows that faithfully, but I do watch NXT like that. But my best friend and I were talking, and he's, he made a really good point where he said, back in the day they had OVW, they had FCW, and those were not on TV.
South
They weren't.
Wrestling as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like they weren't available to a wide range of audience the way that NXT is. So but you can't treat things the same all the time, where we not necessarily fell in love, but we really were like, oh, that's Pete Dunne. Like, that's our guy. Like, we love him. I'm watching Pete Dunne. I want to see him like talk shit to people. I want to see him break people's fingers. And
You like his accent?
I love his accent.
Can you do a Birmingham accent for us?
No, I can't. His
Birmingham.
accent's
It's just
From
very rich.
Birmingham.
I'm happy to be here, Leslie. Have you watched have you watched the Peaky
No, because
Blinders?
I've watched Peaky Blinders, yeah, and
You'd love
he's from
you'd love it.
and
if you
he's
watched
from-
it.
he's from Manchester, like they are.
Pete Dunne's from
Yeah.
Birmingham.
Birmingham.
From Birmingham. Oh, sorry. No, wait. Is he from
Everything's miserable in
Birmingham or
Birmingham.
Manchester?
Birmingham. Pete Dunne's from Birmingham.
He's from Birmingham.
Birmingham.
He's from the West
Birmingham.
Midlands.
I'm sorry. Let me go into my Birmingham. He's from Birmingham.
Why do you sound like you're on Downton Abbey? I'm from Birmingham, darling.
You know
No.
what?
Yeah, like I'm sorry. The Birmingham and Manchester accents are like so close for me that like I just like call them the same. But
William Regal's
Um,
Manchester way from Blackpool originally, but that's like not that far.
Black,
There's a guy on Sean Ross Sapp's like podcast network who like does impressions of various people, and he apparently does, like, everyone fucking loves it, but he does William Regal, and he just does like a generic British accent and just says things that William Regal says. Like he goes,
It's a bloody
Okay.
discreet. Yeah, it's just
but
usually,
it's like he doesn't sound anything like William Regal. He just says a generic English accent. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, you don't sound like William Regal in any way, mate. Like I think when you're from England, like you recognize the differences in accents a little bit more. I certainly do.
100%.
But like people in America just hear English and they just think it's like
So-
one thing.
Okay. What's funny about this is that I think that's a really good point, because do you guys necessarily, as people that are not American, British people, identify the New York or New England or Southern accent, or
I think-
even
I
the
think-
way that people from the Midwest talk?
I do,
you guys-
but
I think we could pick
I
out
like
like
it. I like accents.
a New York accent, or like a typical redneck kind of accent or things like that. Like more
God damn,
like
man.
sort of generic, but I don't think I could nail it down to like a city or so. Sometimes you can. There's certain traits of certain accents, like Boston and stuff like that. But
Boston.
yeah, I think we probably notice it a little bit more. But then like American culture is a lot more embedded into the stuff that we see on TV and stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah,
we
you're
watch
right, you're
wrestling,
right.
that's all American. Whereas if you're in America, you probably don't watch Only Fools and Horses or Peaky Blinders, or you might have seen Downton Abbey, and that's
No, you're right.
like your typical British accent, right? But you probably
No,
don't
you're right.
see
I think
Manchester shows.
JJ, like a lot of people, just to be very like blunt, like Americans, they can't necessarily tell the difference between like that pure London Cockney sort of accent
Mhm.
versus someone from Yorkshire or someone from Manchester,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or even ready for me to throw like people don't even distinguish between the Scottish accent and
Yeah,
the English accent
yeah.
as Americans, right? So, or I think it's more difficult, especially as I watch my shows, to distinguish between like the upper Scottish accent and the Irish accent, because it's quite close, right?
No, a Northern Irish
Um,
accent and a Scottish accent is like
It's almost the
sometimes
same.
it's like, even for me, like
Yeah, JJ, do you know Kieran sometimes plays football with us? Kieran Doughty.
Mhm.
I know
nice guy.
Kieran.
He
Hey,
always says
Kieran.
people think he's Scottish, and he's given up
But
explaining.
he's Southern Irish, isn't he? So like
He's from just outside Belfast.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
Kieran is
But he
from
sounds like
Belfast.
Brendan Rodgers when he talks. Everything's very serious, and if I'm talking on a Zoom call, everything has to be very, very straightforward.
How dare you suggest that I'm from Scotland?
That's very.
I'm from Northern Ireland, and if you say to me one more time
That's
that I'm from
Newcastle.
Scotland,
I'm from Northern Ireland, man.
that's unacceptable to me, and I will not stand for it. That's pretty good.
JJ, right here, big dog.
Oh my god, this is high fiving. She doesn't even know what he's referring to.
No, it doesn't
Genuinely,
matter. First of all,
genuinely.
you know what's funny?
I think you'll find, my good friend, that's a terrible accent to try and
Fine.
replicate. Yeah,
Fine.
you've got to go very. It's the inflections. It's quite, which is why the Northern Irish golfers now all speak Irish. If you listen to
Time out.
Rory McIlroy,
Time out. How does the lavish Lorraine talk?
well, Lorraine went to elocution lessons when she was in school because where she's from in Ireland, all right, everyone talks like this, and it's very quick and it's very hard to understand, and
All
there's
right.
a little bit of a lisp in there. But oh no, sure, look, we're grand. You know, things going well at home, and oh no, sure, look, it's everything's tremendous.
Got it.
So she was taking the elocution lessons, so she speaks like posh Irish, which is a lot of people, a lot of like boarding school types who play rugby outside of Dublin. But if you ever, not that you would, if you search for someone like a Brian O'Driscoll. No, neither of
No,
you
that
know who
makes
Brian
sense.
O'Driscoll is. Oh,
Yeah,
Lions
he's
captain.
a rugby, former Irish rugby.
Former Lions
captain.
captain, yeah.
Yeah.
And
No, it makes
everything's
sense.
quite not really Irish, and you go maybe more English, and I can't do the voice. It's posh Irish. It's something to describe it.
Guys,
No,
I've got
Jack.
a head shortly because I've got football with 7 in the morning and then a lunch date at O'Reilly's. So
No,
Lunch
it's
date in
good.
O'Reilly's.
they do a good roast. What do you want me to say?
I don't. Okay, I'll take your word on that. But the one in Monique's, by the way, tip top.
It's shit. It's so bad.
When they're 2 weeks ago, very good.
I had it about 3-4
Onyx.
weeks ago. I barely touched it.
Oh,
It
it was
was
decent.
horrific.
Took mother-in-law there. She was impressed.
Oh my god! So
I mean,
if
I
you think
prefer to
that's-
make it myself because I get 2 days worth of leftovers out of it.
If you think that's good, please
2
go to O'Reilly's.
days.
If you think that's good, please go to O'Reilly's. You will be blown
Go.
away.
Oh,
Go
really?
to O-
Fucking terrible there, man. I
Well,
really thought it
you
was
maybe just
so
had a
bad.
bad experience because I'm a
Maybe.
very harsh critic of a roast. Roast potatoes are life.
When
It's
I
okay,
went
that's-
there, roast potato, like, okay, if you're gonna have a roast potato, it'll be like on the smaller side and crispy. and
Just a
fluffy.
little bit of crisp, if
Right.
you would, maybe.
I got a roast potato that was like that fucking big, hard, and not crispy in any way. Like, just no.
Alessandra, you have the floor.
Alessandra has the floor. Thank you. Guys, I'm just asking this as an American who has not necessarily like studied the history, and forgive me if this sounds so foolish. Pedo. Who lived in Gibraltar before you lot got there? And
You
second
lot.
second question.
Gibraltarians.
Second question. Where are they now? So is Gibraltar
Just
now, are there any people from Spanish ancestry there? Or
Yeah.
is it JJ?
Well, but for Gibraltarian ancestry, they were just Gibraltar, right? And then they were like, it's just like, I don't know the history of like the border and stuff specifically, like too far back, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but do you
Gibraltarian.
meet people in Gib, yeah, that are like, oh, my family's always lived here?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
I think most people, like, honestly,
Really?
Yeah.
Because I know it's a small place. And for people who don't know, like Gibraltar is in a UK overseas territory by Spain. So I think it's interesting to just kind of like understand the dynamic of people who are native there versus the folks like you and Jack and your friends that have come over from UK and made a life there.
It's like you see a lot of the same surnames from like kind of, historically they've just been, those surnames have just sort of like gone through forever, like, and just kind of expanded. You don't see as well like Delapani or Banda, or I don't know. You probably see a lot of
Cipollina, Azzopardi, Zaccarello.
as a party is definitely one.
No, it's
I
cool
don't
because you
just
guys
want to
know.
name like Gibraltarian footballers like Casciaro and
Yeah.
Sibley and stuff like that. But yeah,
Guys, I
That's
think
cool because
this
you guys
weekend.
know, like I work for a bank that originated in Spain, so like
Santander,
I'm
Listen,
yeah.
I'm amazed that you guys can stop talking. I've got to go feed the baby who's stirring.
I gotta go to bed. So.
okay. Everyone has a life. Okay, cool. Go.
We have babies.
Go see the cat.
Hi, Ducky.
Go watch Rampage or the other one, whatever one it is on Friday
I might
night.
try and stay up and watch Dynamite, but see, I'm working tomorrow.
Dynamite. Yes, that one.
I know,
Cool.
mate.
Is that the
J
Friday
team.
one?